All right, St. Michael the Archangel family, we're talking about a pilgrimage to Rome that didn't just happen, it erupted in a blaze of glory. Our journey began not just with a flight, but with a divine appointment, soaring from Chicago to Dallas and then catapulting across the ocean to that eternal city. And when we touched down, it wasn't just a landing, it was an immersion. Our first step was the majestic St. Mary Major, not just a basilica, but a celestial palace, where we walked through that inaugural holy door and stepped into a living, breathing testament to the unwavering faith of generations. We're not just witnessing art and relics, we're encountering the manger from Bethlehem itself, the very cradle of our salvation, and the day exploded into a deeply moving mass. On day 2, we dove even deeper into the heart of Rome. We're not just seeing churches, we're encountering the divine. We're talking about the first mass that Father Bennett got to offer in Rome. Can you imagine the power in that place? The churches we explored weren't just structures of stone and mortar. They were monuments to artistic and spiritual grandeur, each one a symphony of faith, a testament to the relentless pursuit of beauty in the name of Jesus. And then we experienced a moment, a God-ordained moment, a climb to a vantage point, not just any viewpoint, but a tiny keyhole that framed St. Peter's Dome in a way that defied description. Then bam, the Colosseum, not just a landmark of human history, but a roaring echo of triumphs and trials. Some of us ventured inside, while others explored more of Rome's famous sights. Each one of us, we ascended ancient stairs, absorbed panoramic views that stretched across this sprawling metropolis, and discovered yet another inspiring church, each one a beacon of hope pointing us towards the heavens. We concluded this epic day with just a twilight glimpse of St. Peter's Basilica that we'd get to see tomorrow. On day 3, we were on a mission. We're talking about rising before the sun, fueled by holy hunger to experience St. Peter's Basilica before the throngs arrived. And we were fortunate beyond words, divinely appointed to enter just in time, to approach the holy door with hearts pounding and souls ready to encounter the living God. This initial quiet within the Basilica wasn't just silence, it was a sacred hush, a rare privilege, allowing us to fully immerse ourselves in the sheer size, the overwhelming beauty, the breathtaking artistry that speaks of a God who is both immense and intimately present. Then we descended into the depths, into the crypt for a private mass that wasn't just a service, but a sacred, intimate encounter with the divine. Deep beneath the basilica, at the very foundation of our faith, the shift from the serene silence to the growing bustle of the arriving crowds propelled us into a moment of refreshing fellowship. We got some water and some well-deserved heavenly gelato before we conquered the Spanish Steps. And let me tell you, that climb wasn't just exercise. It was an ascent into beauty, rewarded with breathtaking views of yet another stunning Roman church, each one a jewel in the crown of this incredible city. And on day 4, we were making a transition, but not without encountering more of God's glory. We're talking about a departure from Rome, but not before we first got to visit San Silvestro in Capite. Here, we didn't just celebrate Mass, we proclaimed the victory that we have in Jesus, not just over pagan religion, but over anything that dares to stand against the unstoppable force of faith. We're talking about the victory that echoes through the ages, a triumph that resonates in our hearts today. And then we beheld a relic, the head of John the Baptist. Our journey continued to the Capuchin crypt, and yes, the walls were adorned with human bones, a stark reminder of our mortality. Then, a moment of pure joy, a divine appointment. We connected with friends from back home, Ed, Barb, Jim, and Sue, a heartwarming reunion, a reminder that the bonds of faith transcend distance. And from there, we set our course for Assisi, the city of St. Francis, a place saturated with his spirit, his humility, his radical love for God. The next few days weren't just a visit, they were an immersion into his profound legacy. Day 5, we were in Assisi, and we were encountering a different kind of power, the power of humility, the power of surrender, the power of a life poured out for the sake of the gospel. We commenced with a private mass, not just in any location, but in St. Francis's crypt itself, right in front of his tomb. We then journeyed to the Hermitage, not just a place, but a sacred space where St. Francis lived and prayed, where you could feel the very atmosphere charged with his spirit, his devotion, his unwavering commitment to follow in the footsteps of Jesus. And the trek down the steep hill to San Damiano wasn't just a walk, it was a descent into the heart of St. Clair's community, a place where radical faith was lived out in community. We concluded this transformative day by encountering the relics of Blessed Carlo Acutis, soon to be canonized, the first millennial saint, a reminder that holiness isn't just for the distant past. Then on day 6 in Assisi, we experienced an unexpected turn, a divine detour. Father Bennett, with his wisdom and discernment, called for a day of rest. We began with a private mass at the Basilica of St. Clare, encountering her incorrupt body, a tangible miracle, and exploring amazing Franciscan relics. Then, we ascended to Rocca Maggiore, that medieval fortress perched high above Assisi, not just for panoramic views, but for a glimpse into history itself, the struggles and triumphs of generations past. And those ancient tunnels? They weren't just dark and cramped, they were powerful reminders of the constraints and challenges that even the most faithful people had to endure. The day concluded not with a hurried departure, but with free exploration, a chance to wander and to wonder, to soak in the beauty of Assisi at our own pace, and a memorable pilgrim's meal at sunset. We shared the experience of food, fellowship, and gratitude under the vast Umbrian sky. And on day 7, we were savoring our final moments in Assisi. Even the rainy morning couldn't dampen our spirits as we gathered for a final intimate mass in St. Clare's Basilica. And then we visited the actual home of St. Francis himself. Not just a museum, but a time capsule, a portal into the very life of this extraordinary man. We walked through the same doorways he walked through, stood in the places where he grew up, where he first heard God's call, a call that would change the world. We even saw the cell where his own father confined him, a dramatic illustration of the cost of following Christ, the opposition that even those closest to us might raise when we dare to say yes to God in a radical way. After a final lunch in this unforgettable city, we journeyed back to Rome, weary in body but soaring in spirit. And thanks to the organizational wizardry of TJ, we got checked into our hotel smoothly and efficiently, ready for the next chapter on our Roman adventure. On day 8, it was so good to be back in Rome, that amazing city. We began with the Vatican Museums, a treasure trove of some of the most breathtaking and sacred art in the world. We entered the Sistine Chapel. We got to stand beneath Michelangelo's vision of creation and redemption. And it wasn't just a chance to admire art. The day held an even more profound moment. We descended into the ancient Vatican excavations, walking through the necropolis, the burial place of many early Christians. And then we arrived at the tomb of St. Peter himself. We got to stand in that space, the very epicenter of our church. It was an experience of overwhelming power. Father Bennett led us in prayer, and we got a chance to reflect on everything God did through St. Peter and continues to do through us. Our pilgrimage continued to St. Paul outside the walls, and we finally got to see another awesome tomb, the tomb of St. Paul, the apostle who took the gospel to the Gentiles. On day 9, we were venturing into the shadows, into the hidden depths of Rome. We're talking about the ancient catacombs. In the heart of that subterranean world, we encountered the tomb of St. Cecilia. Then, we ascended back into the light and made our way to the Basilica of St. Sebastian. What truly resonated was seeing one of the actual arrows that pierced St. Sebastian. Our next stop was St. John Lateran, the Cathedral of Rome itself. We concluded this epic day at the Basilica of the Holy Cross, where we beheld some of the most incredible relics of our faith, including a piece of the true cross. And we ended the day with a toast to Pope Francis. That dinner as a pilgrim family was incredible and so good. And day 10 was the grand finale. We began with one last Mass at St. Augustine Parish in the chapel of St. Monica's tomb. To celebrate the Eucharist in the presence of such a powerful example of persevering prayer was a fitting way to close out our pilgrimage. But the day held one more breathtaking experience, the climb to the very top of St. Peter's Basilica. Father Bennett led the way, and the view from there, words can't describe it. It was a revelation, a 360-degree vista of the eternal city. And though this pilgrimage to Rome came to a close, our journey of faith continues. In fact, we're already looking ahead with eager expectation to our 2026 pilgrimage to France. Get ready for another incredible adventure. If you're feeling that stirring in your spirit, we want to hear from you. Leave a comment below or reach out to the pastorate office to let us know that you're interested in coming on the pilgrimage. So, as we bring this Roman chapter to a close, let's give thanks for the journey, for the encounters, and for the memories, and for the God who has been with us every step of the way. And to make sure you don't miss a single moment of what's coming next, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest news and updates from the St. Michael the Archangel Pastorate. The adventure continues, and we want you to be a part of it.